Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, and I'm back for another channel update random topic video. And I've got a few things I want to quickly chat about here today, so we will just dive right into it here. As I haven't done one of these in a few weeks, I will start this spiel the way I often do for these channel update videos. First off, I just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel whether you've been here for 10 minutes or 10 years, because yeah, this thing has been going quite a long time. It's very much appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I do unlock videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and sometimes more frequently. Like I just did a bonus video yesterday just for the heck of it, becoming near Halloween, and I used my iPhone 16 Pro Max camera for the first time to shoot a video, and I thought, well, let's just release a little bonus video for some of the Doom-related collectibles that I have acquired as of recently. So Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, sometimes more. I cover everything from games I play as a low vision / legally blind / illegally sighted player. I also cover games that are totally playable if you have no usable vision. So I cover those. I cover mainstream and assistive technology. I've been starting to cover AI and some of the wearables and stuff, like the Meta Ray-Ban glasses that have been becoming really popular over the last few months. I have covered virtual reality in the past, although, like I said, I've taken a hiatus on that a little bit just because of the lack of accessibility being implemented in a lot of those platforms. So I hope that changes soon. But everything is divided into playlists for those very things: low vision gaming, blind accessible gaming, assistive technology, AI, virtual reality. I have a series I'm proud of called Growing Up Illegally Sighted. If you have questions about myself, how I got into my day job as an assistive technology specialist, or how I got into game accessibility, YouTube, all those things are answered there. And I even did a recent video called Assistive Technology 101, where I cover kind of how, for people who are unfamiliar and maybe have some preconceived stereotypes that, oh, blind people can't use computers, they can't use smartphones, you're faking it. All of those different types of things. But I try to answer a lot of those types of questions and hopefully educate some people if they are unfamiliar with it. So please feel free to check out that playlist. Share that playlist, share the channel, whatever works best, but hopefully you find something of interest while you're here. I want to quickly, normally I go into games I've been playing or some of my projects, but I want to kind of jump really quickly into a related topic that I was just talking about, with the Assistive Technology 101 video. Um, you know, I I do hear from time to time, and in that video I also address it. People say, "Oh, you're faking it," or "You can't play games. You're not, you're not visually impaired or blind or whatever." Or ridiculous questions that people might ask. How do you do this? How do you do that? How are you writing this reply if you can't see? How are you using a phone or a computer? Anything from just how do you perform daily tasks? I've had people say, "What, you have a job, you work?" Yeah. I know a lot of people don't or can't if they have a disability to some degree, but yes, I do work full time, and I do stuff on the side as well. But check out that video if you want to know more. I did see just on Twitter recently, earlier today, a video from Steve Saylor, whom I've worked with in the past. I was part of a panel at the Game Accessibility Conference in 2019 with him and another visually impaired individual. And It was a really fun, really cool experience. But he did a video today that I really overall like I very much agree with, because he's been getting a lot of these sometimes hateful comments or just accusation comments of, you're not blind, you're not disabled, you're not whatever, whatever. And he lays that out really well. Not only like what his vision is, how he approaches or how he plays games, um, what limitations he has, but also like how he approaches consulting, because both him and we do work with game developers, indie developers, AAA developers, app developers, and he does a good job of, it's like, and I agree with him. One of his things that he said was, I work with people as a general accessibility consultant. Yes, I have my emphasis of blindness and low vision because that's what I live, but I will also offer suggestions for any type of other accessibility that I know about to at least some degree. Things like, if I know at least some basic level, something about, let's say, subtitles or controller remapping or something like that, I'm not going to deny just because it may not be a feature that I might need, doesn't mean I'm going to omit that as a suggestion, and doesn't mean that I would deny someone else an accessibility feature or design consideration that they need just because I want to serve myself and I want to get my needs met first. That's not the way we work, and I agree with him on that. And like I said, I've largely brushed off a lot of these comments myself as well. You're not blind, or how do you do this? Part of me kind of laughs, and part of me is like, I just kind of think about it and go, yeah, that's really disappointing that people still have that attitude in this day and age. But like I said, rather than, scream and complain and whatever, doing these types of videos, or, whether it's something in real life, just like, just go about my life, live my life. And if people see it, they will hopefully learn something. But the one thing that I will say that I differ a little bit from Steve is, and I agree with I totally agree with where he's coming from, that, blindness is a spectrum, as is pretty much every disability. It's a spectrum. And by rights, I am legally blind. Therefore, according to my doctor, according to my eye doctor, I am legally blind. My vision is terrible enough that, that I need certain assistance to perform certain types of tasks, or I might qualify for certain services or something. So I could call myself blind. And, technically you're not wrong to do that. But I feel like while it's technically correct to call yourself blind, even if you have some usable vision, because the vast majority of people who are classified as legally blind do in fact have some usable vision. I don't remember the exact percentage, but like I said, it's a very large percentage of people who are legally blind that actually have usable vision. So very small percentage do not have any usable vision whatsoever. That being said, I think just for the sake of confusion, ambiguity, we live in a sighted world. We live in a non-disabled world, which, the vast majority of people maybe do not have a disability, or at least don't claim to have a disability, or maybe claim or don't have a visible disability. And so I try to, like I said, while I could say that I am blind, I would never claim to say that I am totally blind, because I am not. But I also wouldn't say that I am blind. I am legally blind. I'm low vision. I'm visually impaired. There's the title of the channel, illegally cited. I kind of, spoof on that. I kind of, poke fun at that. I'm not too serious about it. But for the sake of people who don't get it, or for the sake of people who are unfamiliar with blindness and maybe do have some of these either misconceptions or misunderstandings or prejudices, I think it's still important to still differentiate between, yes, I could say that I'm blind, but I think to be most accurate, I will say that I'm low vision or legally blind, or I'm visually impaired. And even if I'm reviewing a game, if I'm covering a game or an app, and that's why I label things as low vision spotlights or accessible game spotlights, because I really want to differentiate, and I probably should now that I think about it, even if I put something in parentheses, I call them, early access or demo time videos for those types of games where they're not fully out yet, but I'm covering them in some fashion. I probably should, and that's something I might do going forward. Maybe put low vision in parentheses, or put accessible in parentheses so people know. Because if I just go into every video and I say that I am blind, and someone has just discovered my channel for the first time because they're looking for accessible games, which happens a lot. That's how a lot of people find my channel. They're not familiar with me. They're not familiar with my vision. All they know is that I covered a game and I'm calling myself blind. Then they could get excited and go, oh, the guy says he's blind, so I should be able to play this. Now, if I'm somebody who stumbles upon the channel and I do not have any usable vision, and I come up and I hear somebody say, oh, I'm blind, I'm like, oh, sweet, I can go play this. But like I said, I really want to try. You're not wrong. And nobody's wrong for, like I said, if somebody is hard of hearing and they still identify, they call themselves deaf. That's totally fine. But I look at it more for the viewer, for the end user, for whatever you want to call it. I would say the viewer in my case for YouTube videos. I want to avoid any sort of confusion or ambiguity, that type of thing. I guess I've never really thought of myself as blind. I've thought of myself as legally blind or visually impaired. But that, again, that's just a different philosophical, I hate that word, it's so long. It's just a philosophical difference in thought. But like I said, no one's wrong for thinking that, or saying that, hey, I'm blind. That's totally cool. But I want to avoid the confusion that people might have if they could stumble onto any one of my thousands of random videos. And I want to make it clear that some games I do play visually, and some games, and even if I'm playing visually, there are games like The Last of Us, where I will use a combination of my vision, but I will make very, very much use of the features for blind players, the audio pings, the navigation assist, the menu narration, even for low vision players, I found myself using the high contrast mode a lot, turning that on and off. So I use some features like large fonts or high contrast for low vision, but if blind accessible features are there, heck yeah, I'm going to use them as much as I can as well. Because as Steve said, they are very helpful for low vision players as well. So, I mean, that's just where, I think I've talked about this a little bit in previous videos a long time ago. But like I said, he did a really good video, which I agree with. But as far as how I choose to represent myself, not so much for my sake, but for to avoid some of that accusation. Maybe I don't get as like I get more questions of how do you do this if you can't see, or how do you do this if you can't see well. I get more questions asking how I do something, or maybe not believing that I can do something. They don't really question that I'm visually impaired, but they question how I might do something because they don't see even someone with low vision being able to do certain tasks. So maybe I avoid some of those accusations because I do differentiate a little bit. Like, yes, I'm legally blind. I could call myself blind, but I choose not to because I want to make it really clear for someone who stumbles upon my work, uh, you know, if they're new to my channel or they just discover my work, that they won't be as confused. And again, as I said earlier, there are a few things that I could do with a couple of my playlists, some of my early access and my demo time videos. I don't like when a full game is out, I say low vision spotlight or accessible game spotlight. But as I contemplate things, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should make those a little more clear when I do demo videos or early access videos, and I probably will consciously think about that going forward here. So that is one topic I wanted to talk about. The other one that I really want to mention, because it is a timely thing, this is going to be a Saturday video. The other thing that I want to mention, if you have not done so already, there are two events coming up in the next few days. I think one of them might even start tonight. I got to look at the time. Might start tonight or tomorrow, I forget, but I'm going to look shortly after recording this video. We have the Sento Showdown, a Mortal Kombat 11 tournament specifically for blind and low vision players. I've followed it since the beginning. I've never participated. Part of me is like, well, I feel like I have too much vision. I probably could participate, but like part of me thinks, well, I have too much vision. Like, yes, I use the accessibility features, but I can kind of see what's on the screen or where the characters are, and I feel like I would be cheating a little bit. But also part of me is like, I play so many other games and do so many other things that I don't really have enough time to really sink enough time and devote enough time into really mastering a character or to be competitive. Because just because they're blind does not mean these blind players are not good, because these are some damn good Mortal Kombat, damn good fighting game players. So I'm a scrub compared to these guys that are fighting in this tournament. So, but yeah, just look up Sento Showdown. Check it out. Look up OBS or look up Rattlehead on Twitch. I believe it's on his Twitch channel. But look up Sento Showdown. You will find the information on that. It is going on this weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the beatdown over this next couple of days. So, and if you want to register for, next time it happens, maybe not this time, it's too late, but next year or whenever they do it again, you might be able to register and become a participant yourself. So I wanted to plug the Sento Showdown, and a huge shout out to everyone who has put a lot of work into that tournament over the last several years, as again I've followed it for quite a while. And I even they have drawings. They have little if you're in the Twitch chat, they have little drawings every once in a while, and I won some pretty cool Mortal Kombat coasters that somebody had done some hand-drawn art on them, and they're really cool. I did a video of that, I think it was either last year or the year before that I won those. So a huge thank you to them for having those prizes too, and it was cool that I won that. But love the tournament, wanted to plug it, check it out, it's awesome. The other thing that's awesome that's coming out, or that's coming up Monday and Tuesday, the 28th and the 29th, if you go to GAConf.com, you can still register for a free virtual ticket. That is, of course, the US version of the Game Accessibility Conference. I will not be attending in person this time, but I will absolutely be attending both days, Monday and Tuesday, virtually. You'll be able to stream the sessions. You will, if you register, you'll be given information to their Discord, which I got to make sure that I remember my Discord information because I don't use it a whole lot. But I want to be ready for that because, there's a lot of great conversations being had for each session. There's great networking opportunities. You meet other players, other advocates, other game developers. If you want to get your foot in the door as a a game accessibility consultant or any sort of related field like that, the Game Accessibility Conference is a great place to start, and the sessions are always interesting. You can go to their YouTube channel and find all of their past, or most of their past. I don't know if they archived some of their first year or two, some of their sessions, but the vast majority of them have been archived. And it's cool because they have sessions from game developers, they have from people with disabilities, they have panels. I've been on 2 separate panels. I was there in, like I said, 2019 with Steve Saylor. And what was her name? Megan, I think. Sorry, I totally forgot. But I was in an in-person session there, and then in 2021 or 2, heck, I can't even remember. I was in a virtual. We did a virtual session with a few of us, and that was a really fun session. So yeah, I mean, they have panels, they have game developers and people with disabilities and advocates and creators and all kinds of cool stuff. And again, just a little cheap plug. I'm not in this fall's GAConf directly, but what I can say, because it has been announced on their page, a little project called the Toby Accessibility Mod is going to be featured in one of these sessions because Sir Mr. Alan D1 has created a presentation, and he is going to be doing that session, giving a little bit more background on the development of the Toby Accessibility Mod, and I am very, very much intrigued to learn more about it from him there. So that's another incentive, and I know, like I said, I haven't even looked at all the sessions, but I've seen them posted on Twitter the last few weeks, and it sounds like there's a lot of interesting stuff. It sounds like there's going to be one of the panels is going to be, it's going to be a rough one, but I think it's going to be really good. It sounds like there's going to be a few people, kind of a tribute. I don't know exactly what the whole session is, but I know it's at least like a tribute to Brandon Cole, super blind man that we lost earlier this year. So, like I said, it's a really, really cool 2-day event. If you have any interest in game accessibility, you want to learn more, you want to learn what goes into making games accessible, whether it's from the developer side, the consultant side, or anything in between, check out GAConf. It's awesome. It's one of my most look forward to events or times of the year. So check that out. And while we're talking about events, one last thing that I wanted to mention is early December. I want to say it's around, what is it, December 5th? I should have wrote it down. Site Tech Global has been a conference that's been going on for a few years. And that one I am going to be a part of officially. I did announce this on Twitter about a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe. I'm going to be part of a panel with like three or four other people. And we're going to be recording that session here in early November, so it's ready. But yeah, we are going to be a part of Site Tech Global, talking, of course, about game accessibility. So you can register for free for Site Tech Global and stream that in early December. I will be, in fact, being a part of that. But even if I wasn't, I would still encourage you to do that, because it's not just about games, it's just about all kinds of different aspects of accessibility. I've attended virtually the last few times, and it's been interesting. So that's some events that are coming up. I may do a video after the Game Accessibility Conference. Maybe I'll post one on Wednesday, just like, hey, this is my thoughts. Maybe I'll learn about a new game that I didn't know about before. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'll just do a quick, just overall thoughts video on the Game Accessibility Conference. I thought about waiting to do this video until after GAConf, but then I saw that Steve Saylor video, and there were a few other things that I wanted to quickly chat about, so I figured we'll do this one now real quick. As far as games go, as far as accessible games, if you don't have any usable vision, unfortunately, there's not a lot out there right now. I did just update Diablo 4, so I am hoping to check that out shortly, and I wanted to check out the update. You know, they don't have it in the dungeons yet, but they do have navigation assists in the overworld now, so you can traverse that okay. And I know some blind players who have been playing it. It's been so busy, I haven't had time. So that is one thing I want to look at. I know the Call of Duty campaign came out literally today as I'm recording this, or last night. It sounds like there are accessibility features in it, but it is not maybe accessible to totally blind players. Apparently there is no menu narration. Not sure about any navigation assists. So it might be something I can check out. I hope to, because I do have Game Pass. I'm not really interested in the multiplayer stuff, but I kind of would be intrigued. I've heard good things about the campaign in this one, so yeah, maybe if I get a chance. My backlog, you guys, is just nuts. If I pull up, this is my backlog here. I've got like this whole row here. I've got demos from Steam Next Fest that I haven't even touched yet, that I haven't had time to play. Power Wash Simulator has got some new content out that I just use when I'm listening to podcasts or books or something. There's a game that I'm really intrigued that I want to do a video on called Blind Fire, that Microsoft announced at their recent event, Xbox event. And it is visual, but at the same time, it's largely not, because apparently a lot of it is like audio based, and you really have to listen like for people walking around or people reloading or gunfire. I have not played it or even really seen it yet, but everything I've heard about it sounds really fascinating. But it sounds like if you do certain things, you're given like again, they're falling on that echolocation type of thing to provide a visual representation of, maybe you'll see an outline of part of the environment, or outline of a player or something. Again, I'm not going to speak to it yet because I haven't had a chance to play it. But I know they just are releasing an update, I think today, and I posted them on Twitter again. I said, yeah, this is really cool. I would definitely have to check it out. But I would love to see this be accessible for somebody with no usable vision, with who is sightless, because and maybe even what I would love to see even more is say, okay, this is a game that you can play. You have some visual elements, but I would love to see them, as I said in my tweet, flip the script. And you know how usually games are developed for sighted users first, and accessibility is, I don't want to say secondary, But there's some differences. And what I think would be cool is if they flip the script and you could play it as a sighted player, but maybe if you really pay attention to the audio, and if they designed it so that you would have more of an advantage if you played it purely audibly, give the blind players, if you design the gameplay right, because this is an early access right now. Give the blind players some kind of advantage. I mean, I'm not saying like if you're blind you get some gameplay advantage based on the mechanic or based on like a setting or something, but I'm just saying like if you pay attention more to your hearing than your visuals, which blind people are generally really good at because they have to be and they pay attention more. I would love to see it where, if you're relying on your vision a little bit more, you might not pick up on some of the subtle audio cues that would give somebody who is playing mostly or purely by ear an advantage. I would love to see that because that would be really cool to say, hey, blind players got one up on you sighted people for a change. That would be pretty cool. But I mean, as I hold up my Steam library there, I've got demos. Yesterday alone, Coven is out. I did a demo video of that a couple years ago. It's a really cool first-person shooter. Forgive Me Father 2 is out fully now. I did either an early access or demo video of that a few months ago. A Turtles game that I haven't even touched yet. There's either like a half a dozen other demos I haven't touched. There's probably a half a dozen games that have either like gone on sale that I've picked up for like under $10 and more just keep on coming. So yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to play and cover some of these games, but like I said, it's a great time to be a gamer right now. I'm not playing as many AAA games, but there is just a huge plethora of things to play in the smaller and indie game scene. So there's tons of stuff, but again, I know it is disappointing that there don't appear to be near as many games that are fully playable without sighted assistance this year. Like last year, we were eating pretty good. We had some indie games, we had Forza, we had Mortal Kombat, I think that was last year. We had a fair few games that were playable without any usable vision. But aside from a few indies and like I said, the Diablo update's really cool. But the game industry as a whole is kind of in a rough spot right now. There's layoffs every other week or every other day, it seems. I just saw a couple articles and posts about, oh yeah, Microsoft's had several bouts of layoffs this year, but the head of Microsoft, he got a $30 million raise or something. I forget what it was, some ungodly amount of raise. And I understand it's like, okay, the people that are working, you get a little bit of a raise, you get a cost of living raise, you get, a performance raise to some degree, but like you lay off hundreds and thousands literally of people, and then in 1 year, you get a raise of more money than I will make in 3 lifetimes. I don't know. That just seems a little. I'll be polite and say screwy to me. It just seems wrong. I'm not saying that everyone should be, everyone has to be making exactly the same thing, but like if you make you know, millions of times more than the employees under you, yeah, people are going to be pissed, and rightfully so. And then you get a raise like that? Jesus. So it's been a rough, like I said, it's been a great year for playing games, but it's been an absolute dumpster fire for the gaming industry. Again, that Prince of Persia game that came out in January this year, really solid Metroidvania. People really liked it. Well, it didn't sell enough, so guess what? Ubisoft folded that area of their studio and pulled people into other projects, and so they were trying to get a sequel greenlit, but that didn't happen. And yeah, so the team that made one of Ubisoft's best games in several years, most acclaimed games in several years, and this is where, again, people see 2D as inferior. Oh, it's not a big AAA 3D game or whatever. If people don't buy stuff, it's so weird because we've seen so many games this year, even the last couple of years. They've gotten great ratings. People love them. They've reviewed highly, but they don't meet sales expectations, and then the company gets closed or shut down, or you get a whole bunch of layoffs. It is sort of a depressing time. I didn't mean to end on a downer as we're getting ready to wrap up here, but like I said, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on in my life here, what's going on in my world. I guess to end on a positive note, like I said, we have a lot of cool stuff to look forward to in the next few days. We have the Game Accessibility Conference. We have the Sento Showdown. We have Site Tech Global coming up. We have just lots and lots of games already out and coming out. So I will be absolutely doing a lot more videos. There's no slowing down on that. I literally, in a few minutes here, in about 20 minutes, I have a little accessibility appointment thing that I am not at liberty to talk about as of now. But it's a fun little way to wrap up the week, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so like I said, I've had some podcast appearances. I've got another podcast guest appearance. I'm not sure when it's going to be coming out. I would guess sometime in November, but I've got that coming. I've got the Site Tech Global thing. We've got the Game Accessibility Conference. So there's a lot of fun stuff to look forward to. And finally, what I will say, I might do a video on it at some point, but I might wait until until either a later beta update or something, or until it's fully out. iOS 18.1 is going to be coming out officially for everybody next week, as Apple has announced. And I don't usually do this, but my coworker kind of twisted my arm, and the things have been actually pretty darn stable. And I really, really, really wanted to kind of see the AI, what the improvements were. So I ended up installing the iOS 18.2 beta on my primary driver, my new iPhone 16 Pro Max. And I do not encourage you to do this for yourself, especially if you are not a technical user, because shit can go real bad. I'm not saying that it will, but it could go really wrong. If it did go wrong for me, I know how I can kind of back my way out of it. It would suck. It would be frustrating, but I could get around it. And again, it's not something I normally do. Once iOS 18.2 comes out, I will probably turn the betas off again because I don't really need them. And for sure, when they start doing iOS 19, I'm not going to put that on my daily phone. I'll put it on a secondary device. because this is a point release and I really wanted to check out the AI, I did put iOS 18.2 developer beta on my phone on Monday. No, no, I put it on. No, I put 18.1 on Monday, and then I decided, oh, I'm going to put 18.2 on either Wednesday or yesterday. And what I will say is, yeah, I haven't put a ton of time into it, but even compared to iOS 18.1 coming out next week, I would say 18.2 is what iOS 18 should have been coming out the gate because believe me, ChatGPT makes Siri a whole hell of a lot better and usable. There's some new email filters. There's just a few, or like your inbox can be sorted by different categories, and there's all kinds of little things under the hood. And you filter that with like the AI stuff. What I didn't realize is that while you can get all the AI features if you have a 15 Pro or Pro Max, I learned when I was talking to my coworker the other day, I didn't realize the new what do they call it? Visual intelligence. The thing that uses your new camera control button on the 16 series. Apparently, that feature is only available on the 16 lines of phones. If you have a 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, or 16 Pro Max, you do not get the the visual intelligence on the 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max. I did not realize that. And so I've got a couple of my friends going, God, I have a 15, but should I get it? And I'm like, for now, no. I would say it's sort of neat. But no, if you have a 15, or if you can take advantage of like the other AI stuff, don't worry about visual intelligence because yes, it is sort of helpful. But in what a little bit of I played with it so far, it's basically a lighter version of what you would do with Be My Eyes. Like you can do the same thing with Be My Eyes, and it's still probably even a bit better. It's just that it's built, right into iPhones, the iPhone 16 series. So I'm not sure when, but I might do a video on iOS 18.2 or something, or some of the AI stuff, because it might be worth showing you guys some of that at some point. Maybe when the public beta comes out, or when iOS 18.2 comes out in probably sometime in December-ish is what they're thinking. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of events, a lot of games coming out. I'm doing beta testing, they're still doing that Envision Assistant. It's now called Ally. Sounds like there's some pretty cool stuff coming with that around the corner. The Meta glasses are hopefully going to get another major update here soon, I hope. But I've seen quite a few more people getting excited about the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. I've done a video of that. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So yeah, it's just been a really, really busy time. Work and consulting and videos and podcasts and beta testing, and it's been fun, but not in a bad way. I love doing this stuff. So, if I have time for it, if I can figure out a way to do it, I'll keep doing it because I love it. I enjoy it. And not only does it benefit me, but hey, if I can help other people, that's really what I want to do. I want to make this stuff better so that it can be helpful to other people. So that is where we are going to wrap it up here. Check out those events, the Sento Showdown and the GAConf in the next few days. Register for those if you have not already. They're both free. And hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and of course, right here on YouTube. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.